Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Rancangan kami menawarkan banyak bahasa. Sila kunjungi suprememastertv.com/schedule.
I think it's really important that we all take account of our health. And oftentimes, we as individuals, in our lifestyle, we get very focused on our families and our businesses or school, and those things are extremely important. And many of us have life goals of different types. But one thing you have to remember is that whatever your short-term or long-term goals are, all of those things will be better off if you have a healthier you.
Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, because we must leave a healthy world for the children.
Health-conscious viewers, in Bermuda, the locals would love to call you their ace girl or ace boy, meaning their best friend in Bermudian English. I'm Lila. The joyful people of Bermuda thank you for your kindness to others, especially our animal co-inhabitants. Welcome to the second episode of our show entitled Healing Hearts and Lives with Dr. Baxter Montgomery, MD, Vegan. In part 1, we learned that the Shining World Hero Award recipient, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, an esteemed American cardiologist, took the initiative to extend his education into the field of nutrition. His knowledge of whole food plant-based nutrition is praiseworthy and has resulted in his patients achieving fantastic health outcomes in treating their chronic illnesses. As founder of the Montgomery Heart and Wellness Center in Houston, Texas, USA, Dr. Montgomery and his team also provide telemedicine and online coaching to help people worldwide reach their health goals. One may wonder precisely how plant-based foods lead to such significantly positive results. Dr. Montgomery gives us a detailed insight into this.
There's an interplay between natural plant foods and the human body. And natural plant foods have what we may refer to as a pleiotropic effect, meaning that it has multiple factors, affects the body in multiple ways simultaneously in a favorable manner. It allows the body to get into biochemical physiological balance by reducing inflammation, reducing what's called oxidative stress. It allows the body to work effectively at the cellular level. So it has a global effect on the body in controlling these multiple factors simultaneously, whereas a medication doesn't. Also, the medication, given that it's not natural for the body, it's not designed for human consumption, it's an abnormal foreign chemical, virtually always have adverse reactions or adverse effects. Now, the patient may not always feel or detect these side effects or adverse reactions, but they're there and they can manifest over time. And so, again, in summary, the reason foods are superior to medications, the foods are by far more complex biochemical structures than medication. Foods are more complex and more sophisticated and more designed to treat the body, and also more designed to put the body in biochemical physiological balance. And that's the mechanism as what we've seen as to how they work.
An essential facet of Dr. Montgomery's work is stabilizing patients and ascertaining when medications need to be adjusted or ceased. It's vital that a doctor changes medication when required, and that those wishing to come off them are appropriately supervised and guided by a medical professional.
So you have a situation where an individual has, let's say, high blood pressure, heart failure, diabetes, arthritis, and they're on multiple medications. When they come in, we assess where they are. We try to stabilize them. We may make adjustments in the medication. But we start them on a detox regimen. Many individuals have not experienced, consuming raw plant foods. We start them 100% on raw plant foods, and we see them very frequently in the office. We may see them as frequent as a week, sometimes a few days apart. And we make adjustments in the medications because as they start off on the detox program, they're eating 100% raw plant foods, zero animal protein foods. So we don't make modifications, we make a total change. When they're ready to detox, we put them on 100% raw plant foods, 0% animal protein, 0% cooked foods. And we monitor them very carefully, and we make adjustments in the medications. We counsel them throughout the detox reactions. And typically in published data show 40% medication reduction in about 4 weeks.
Dr. Montgomery's approach has also been effective in those of advanced age.
I recall a patient who was 101 years old who came in with heart failure, and she was on, I think, maybe 4 or 5 medications, and she wanted to get off the medication. So we put her through a detox, and we were able to wean her down to 1 medication that she eventually took only every other day. So it was a good outcome with the patient who was 101. By the way, the oldest patient I implanted a pacemaker in was 101. So appropriate if you're going to implant a pacemaker in a 101-year-old, I guess you can detox one too.
The results of applying a raw vegan detox treatment are extraordinary. With his wealth of knowledge and experience, Dr. Montgomery has assisted many patients in various circumstances. One particular patient benefited from his high-nutrient, plant-based approach, even when she was intubated on a ventilator and relied on a feeding tube for nutrition.
And so, I've had rare situations of treating patients who are very acutely ill in the hospital. One such patient I talk about from time to time is a lady who I think at the time was in her 60s perhaps, and she had chronic lung disease and heart failure. I had implanted a defibrillator in it. She had, hypertension, kidney disease.
Unfortunately, Dr. Montgomery's patient then experienced kidney failure, and her family, despite the recommendation from their nephrologist, did not want to put her on dialysis. They felt her chances of survival were slim, and had already accepted the fact that she would most likely pass away. Dr. Montgomery, however, suggested an alternative approach.
So she was in this hospital that I happened to be, it was a small long-term acute care hospital that I happened to be medical director of. And that's an important detail because had I not been medical director of the hospital, I would not have been able to do what I did. So I spoke to them and said, look, let me try one more thing. And so that's when I went with an intervention. So I got a super green food that has freeze-dried organic produce, broccoli, spinach, kale, wheatgrass, all of those things in it. And I mixed about, maybe a scoop of about 200 mLs of water. And I had the nurses just feed her that. And we weaned her off. We stopped all the regular diet and just gave her that, medication. To make a long story short, essentially that patient walked out of the hospital. She got better, she detoxed and cleansed her lungs out, but she just got better overall, and we were able to discharge her home.
What a remarkable recovery for this patient. A whole food, minimally processed vegan diet can also help to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress.
When we consume foods that are not natural, we create false triggers or false alarms, where the immune system is constantly revved up, constantly being triggered and alarmed. So, that can lead to ongoing progressive inflammation. So, and we can refer to the immune system being, in disarray as senescence. But you can then have acute flare-up. So many people are living with chronic inflammatory condition with their diabetes or high blood pressure or heart failure. And then if something triggers, maybe they get an infection or something like that, then that will trigger an enhancement of this inflammation, and they go into what we call in clinical medicine acute decompensation. And so inflammation is like an ongoing smoldering biochemical fire that if you trigger it, it can then amplify, and that leads to hospitalization. Toxicity, we refer to them also as free radicals. When you consume foods that have dyes and chemicals in it or processed oils or the like, then you're consuming these free radicals, which are molecules that float around and they damage DNA, damage other cells and the like. And these molecules can be stabilized by adding an electron-rich source such as plant-based foods. Berries, kale, spinach, all those things are good from the standpoint of reducing oxidative stress and reducing inflammation.
The information that the esteemed Dr. Montgomery has shared is genuinely inspiring. His detailed research and recovery results for his patients clearly show that adopting a whole food, nutrient-dense vegan diet is a powerful way to optimize our health. It is something that all medical practitioners should be aware of and advocate for their patients.
I think it's really important that we all take account of our health. And oftentimes, we as individuals, in our lifestyle, we get very focused on our families and our businesses or school, and those things are extremely important. But one thing you have to remember is that whatever your short-term or long-term goals are, all of those things will be better off if you have a healthier you. And so central to all of those goals and plans should be a goal and plan to optimize your own health and optimize your own well-being.
We wholeheartedly agree and appreciate Dr. Baxter Montgomery for guiding, motivating, and educating people on the numerous health benefits that a whole food, organic, minimally processed vegan diet provides. May your noble work be forever blessed. For more information on Dr. Baxter Montgomery and Montgomery Heart and Wellness, please visit montgomeryheart.com.
Vegetarianism cultivates patience, compassion, and wisdom. The Venerable Dharma Master Cheng Yen, vegan.
Conscientious viewers, we appreciate having your company on today's show. Coming up next is Supreme Master Ching Hai's advice to all religious faithful and the solution for our world's crisis. Part 3 of 7 on Between Master and Disciples, right after Noteworthy News. May all medical doctors and patients soon embrace the vegan lifestyle to achieve superlative health.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG